What I'm about to tell you is going to challenge you to your very core. It's important to note that this information affects everybody, regardless of religion, cultural background, or country you live in. I apologize. Apparently somebody is building a house over here. Anyway, eventually I will tell the story of how I came into this information, but it's going to take me building some courage to feel comfortable in doing that. Mainly because I think the story is so unbelievable that, I don't expect a lot of people to understand it. And also, before I jump into the delivery of the actual information, I want you to keep in your mind that I don't want you to believe me. I actually encourage you to take this information, go do some research, and try to debunk it on your own. With that said, I'm going to tell you a little story. We can probably all recall the days of attending our college or high school history classes. This was a place that we relied solely on hired professional individuals to deliver accurate information about our history and our origins. It's not too common, especially at that age, to take a step back and actually question where this information came from. Is it at all possible to consider that there were potential biases that were incorporated into our education that are inaccurate? We never paid attention to who actually wrote those books or what institutions were responsible for deciding what information would be valuable versus what information wouldn't be. So naturally, as I ventured through my own life, I started to see inconsistencies because my education didn't stop with school. I decided to continue my education because I just naturally was very interested. So as I continued my own independent research and found these inconsistencies over a 20-year span, I started to see the bigger picture of what has happened in our history and the importance of everybody understanding what that is. And as remarkable as it may sound, this independent education that I've given myself has led me to such a wonderful and beautiful understanding of our history, which has resulted in me finding what I think everybody is looking for. And that is just an explanation of our origins, an explanation of what and who we are, an explanation of what we're supposed to be. And I want nothing more other than to share this knowledge in hopes that it has the potential to touch someone else's life as it has mine. I personally have never felt more freedom in my life. And what's amazing about that is all it took was to have the motivation and the initiative to understand ancient knowledge. I think we take for granted what our ancient ancestors taught and the information that they held, and the unbelievable power of these teachings that have the capability of freeing you from your own mental bondage. Now, the real issue in exposing this information relies on kind of looking at some of our darker history and how we have been deceived through time. You see, these ancient teachings that I'm referring to, they predate any religion that we have today. What I can say is that these teachings are buried deep within some of the religious scripture that we can reference, but they are so deeply hidden that it's almost impossible to find them. And there are a few questions that arise as we get into this information. And that is, why were they hidden? Who was responsible for hiding them? And is it possible that they are still attempting to hide them today? Now, if you're currently religious, this information has the potential to turn your beliefs on their side. But I can promise without a fraction of a doubt that this information will lead you to a higher understanding, potentially an ultimate understanding, and you will have a relationship with yourself that you could have never imagined. So let's take a moment to consider the hypocrisy by looking at a hypothetical scenario. Imagine for a moment that you are researching a daycare facility for your own children. And throughout your research, you uncovered some startling facts about the facility that you were considering. You found that this facility has been accused of and/or prosecuted for over 216,000 child abuse cases at just one of their main facilities in the last 50 years. Additionally, they have been responsible for or supported 7% of historical wars, resulting in hundreds of thousands of deaths. They claim to care for children while they sit on 1/3 of the global wealth, while families and children starve worldwide. And if you don't choose their facility, they threaten that you won't be taken care of elsewhere. And they have actively supported the genocide of entire populations throughout history. Objectively speaking, would you allow your children to attend this daycare? I'm going to guess that the answer would be a resounding no. The reality is that these statistics have nothing to do with daycare. These statistics represent religion, which acts as the fundamental spiritual landscape of roughly 84% of the world's population. 5.8 billion people worldwide are religiously affiliated in one way or another. The question is, if religion was so good and they cared so much and they were supposedly doing the work of God, then how could we blatantly ignore these statistics? That's simple. We don't. Be sure to like and subscribe to this channel as we unravel our hidden history and the hidden teachings that have the potential to awaken you on a level you could never imagine. May the truth come to light, and may the truth set you free.